You've probably heard this whole spiel before, so I'm going to try and keep it quick. An iceberg, the deeper it gets down, the more obscure the content is, and I decided that an iceberg is meant to show you information you don't know, and most people don't know information about the game I made unless you're one of the 31 people that have played it. So, I decided to just make it about my own thing, to extrude my ego even more. Also, if you haven't played Schism, you can find a link for it in the description. I would recommend it because this video will contain spoilers. The first point on the iceberg is literally about the good ending of the game, but also if you don't want to knock yourself out, it really doesn't matter, it's not a great game. The good ending refers to the ending that the player gets if they avoid Lustnut and double back at the end of the second boss fight. You'll find a previously blocked off room, and beating this area will give you a new weapon that you can use to beat the last boss and unlock a new ending, which is the good ending. I actually don't know why I wrote good ending here. It's true ending in the game because lore-wise it's not particularly good. I don't know why I wrote it as good ending. Area names. In the game, when you go into a new area, its name appears on screen. I thought I would go over them now for the sake of people that haven't played the game that might be watching this video. You start off in the Acre Forest, then move on to the Snail Cave, and depending on which ending you're going for, you either split off into Luster or Frozen Over. Anubis is the name of the game's antagonist. It isn't set in the game anywhere, and it can only be inferred by the boss fight music in the game's soundtrack. There's a small tree just before the big one in the Acre Forest. Many players that I've seen play the game try to go up it, and there's nothing there. There really should be. It looks like there's something there. I just got really lazy and didn't put anything there. The game is influenced by my general taste in games, but its main inspiration is another indie game called Tess. You should really go and play it because it's a much better experience, and just a much better game in general. Once you've beaten one of the screens in Frozen Over, if you decide to go back into the previous room, you'll be spawned outside of it, and essentially this is a soft lock because there's no way of getting back in. The frog enemy that appears in the Acre Forest is a repurposed sprite that I originally used for a Terraria mod that I was working on. I'll put some other sprites on screen that I was originally also going to use in that mod, as well as the original Sprogfrite. Sprogfrite? A frog sprite, goddamn. The main gimmick of Frozen Over are these weird missile things that spawn from these egg sacs on the ceiling. They only spawn when they've been on screen for enough time, so there's a couple of screens where you can easily get past them without them actually spawning, making the resulting screens a lot easier. The game has a very big reliance on particle effects to add extra emphasis to certain things, and I kind of wish I didn't rely on it that much, but I'm not a great artist. Originally there was going to be this trail effect that was on certain projectiles, but that would either crash the game, and I don't know if that was because of my shoddy code, or if because the Game Maker beta I was using at the time kind of broke it. This one's the big one, so I might be a bit rambly or kind of off the script a bit, but Skit was a game that I created a while ago. That was the game I had ever spent the longest time on, but I still never finished it. It got far enough in development for me to make a trailer, and I made a Game Jolt page, but when I got to making the third area, I never finished it. Schism is pretty much Skit, except I actually finished it because it borrows a lot of aspects from it. The main character's design is pretty much the same except refined. All the area names are copied except for the new areas such as Frozen Over. Some of the music, mainly the title screen music, comes from it, and some other miscellaneous things were taken from it. Continuing from Skit, there are some other projects that kind of bridge the gap between the two games. I don't have much to say about each individual one, but some of them range from actual prototypes to just artwork that I kind of messed around with. I'll show some on screen right now, but I don't have much to say about them. And for the last part of the iceberg, I'm going to be covering some unused assets. There's a lot more that I'm actually going to talk about, but here they are. Here's this teleporter that was originally meant to appear in Luster in its original design. I might also flash up an image of the original Luster tile set if I still have it, because that was pretty bad. Here's this weird weighted platform thing that I had planned from the start, but I never actually used. I'm not sure why. It doesn't exactly function the best. Like, it functions, but it doesn't look great. Here's this test enemy I had that was just a basic test enemy. And here's another unused enemy called a Watcher that was originally going to be in Luster. Same place those teleporters were going to be. We made it to the end of the iceberg, didn't we? Well, there wasn't much to begin with. There was like 2 entries per thing, and it wasn't big. There's more I could talk about, but I'd probably want to do that in a more free-form kind of way on like a stream or something. Or maybe just a long video, who knows. I have written an actual post-mortem on the game. I will link it in the description, but it's not very interesting. Other than that, thanks for watching. If you want to listen to some music that I've made, that's what this channel has other than this video, so go ahead and do that. Like, subscribe, whatever. General whatever crap. I don't know. Click what's on your screen if you want. Thanks.